Hello everyone and welcome to Barre Groove on Demand. My name is Alanna, I'm the owner of Barre Groove, and today we're going to be doing a 10-minute tutorial for beginner bouncers. So this is a great opportunity for everyone who's new to the platform, who hasn't bounced before, to learn all of our bounce basics, our bounce form, and bounce modifications. So what I'm going to do today is hop up on the trampoline with you guys and talk about the fundamentals of bounce and the movement that we do in all of our classes, so you guys can learn from the start. Before we get onto the trampoline, I always recommend wearing a supportive pair of sneakers, so something that supports you around your ankles. A lot of the time we get asked, can I bounce barefoot? The answer is yes from home, because it's your own personal trampoline. If you are, or if you do feel more comfortable bouncing in socks, I always recommend that you bounce in grip socks, so that way you get that traction that you need on the trampoline, or as I said before, to go barefoot. I personally prefer bouncing in sneakers, and these are a very awesome supportive pair that I wear all the time while I bounce. The next thing, I always say, wear something comfortable that you would work out in or you feel comfortable and confident moving in. And then I always say, hair up, lip gloss on, however you're feeling like your best self. Once you have all that, I'm going to invite you up on the trampoline with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off with what we call our basic bounce form. This is our most basic bounce filler that we teach in every class, and we also kick off with this movement in each of our bounce combos. So you're going to start with the feet nice and wide. I always say the wider your stance, the more stable you're going to feel, the easier it's going to be for you to bounce. You want your toes and knees tracking forward, and then if you take a peek down, you want to stay on that inner circle, so that flat surface, and not on the flutter skirt or your bands. You want to stay right in between the white stitching. So with your toes and knees tracking forward in a nice wide stance, you're going to take a big inhale, lift the arms up. Now exhale, soften the knees, and give me some spirit fingers. You're going to wiggle it, jiggle it, yeah. Feeling good, feeling hot on the tramp. Then inhale, lift it up, exhale, slide it down. So you want your hands right above your knees. This is a great way to check your basic bounce form. So right now, my weight is centered over the arches of my feet. My shoulders are over my knees, and my abs are pulling in, and I'm lifting my booty up. So I want you to stay facing me, and I'm gonna turn to the side so you guys can see this form. It's really important a lot of times in bounce where we wanna shift our weight forward or back, or our upper body wants to come up. It's very hard to bounce with your shoulders over your hips. So for beginners, I always say work at a 45-degree angle where you're hinging from your hips, your head's in line with your spine, and it's a lot of core. So I'm keeping my navel drawn into my spine, and I'm actively lifting my booty. So take a peek back at your butt, be like, damn, I got it going on, I'm looking good. Check the other side, you're like, okay, J-Lo ain't got nothing on us. And then hold that sensation of the lifted booty and that core tight, and I want you to bring your hands to your hips. Now stay facing me. The last thing I always like to tell new bouncers is we don't bounce up unless we cue you to do so as you get more advanced. We bounce down. So I always say, imagine someone's holding you down from the tops of your shoulders. You're going to keep your upper body at the height that it is, and you're going to use your hamstring and your glutes to bounce down into your trampoline. So here we go. Let's give it a try. You're going to bounce down using your hammies and your glutes to push down as hard as you can. Now continue to bounce. As you guys continue to bounce down, I want you to check in with yourself. Where is your weight? You want to make sure you're not leaning forward or leaning back. You want to keep it centered right over the arches of the feet. It's really important that you keep your knees bent and you bounce down low. I always say the harder you bounce and the lower you go, the more effective the movement's going to be, the more you're going to feel it in your hamstrings and in your glutes. And pose. Bada boom, hot damn. All right, so we pose after all of our sets. It's just a way for you guys to know that we're ending that sequence and moving on to the next thing. Basic bounce, that filler we just went over, is your best friend. It's the best way to find the beat and to catch your breath. Now, modification number 2. You can do anything that we do bouncing in class on the trampoline without the bounce. So you can do the movement in place, marking it, and then once you feel like you have the movement and you feel comfortable and confident in the movement, you can add the bounce in. Right? And those one-legged movements are more intermediate to advanced movements, so you won't be doing that as you ease your way into the program. But you can take the bounce out at any point, at any time, in any class, and still do the movement on. That's still going to challenge your core and your balance, and you're still going to get a much better workout on your trampoline doing the movement standing in place rather than the floor. But option 3 and your third modification for this class, if you're like, oh my God, tramp life isn't for me today, I'm not feeling it, totally fine. You can come off your trampoline and do anything that we do bouncing next to, in front of, or behind your trampoline on the floor. So a lot of times people like to learn down here where they're comfortable, like we're all comfortable being on the floor, and then once they have it down, they like to bring it back up and apply it to on the trampoline. So any of those 3 bounce modifications are what we recommend to all new bouncers, whether you're in class with us at the studio or virtually joining us from home. Those are 3 modifications that you can apply to yourself anytime in any class. So the 3 modifications again, number 1, always come back to basic. You could do basic bounce the entire time and still get an amazing workout. Modification number 2, take out the bounce. Modification number 3 is you come off your trampoline and you do anything that we do bouncing on the floor. As you guys continue to go through the beginner program and work your way up to an intermediate and advanced level, you can take everything that you learned as your foundation in the beginner program and apply it as you become more advanced. Always do what works best for you and your body. I can't emphasize that enough. In all these classes, we do a handful of movement. We change our choreography in every class and the sequencing, so you're never going to be doing the same combos twice in any of our on-demand virtual classes. So you're always going to be challenging yourself. Even if you stick in these beginner programs and do the 10-minute beginner series, you're going to notice that we stick to our core fundamental bounce fillers and we change the choreography and the sequencing, so you're always still getting that challenge of not knowing what's coming next, but it also allows you guys a great opportunity to learn the form and the bounce foundation before you work your way up to those advanced levels and sequencing. And there's nothing wrong with sticking in the beginner program. You're still going to get an amazing workout by all that repetition and by mastering your movement and doing it full out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the beginner series program, and hopefully I'll see you at my next beginner class. Good luck, Bounce Squad.